G'day mate, welcome to Mountain. This is Chloe. We are together, fall in love with our true selves. Is being I-type something you're born with or learned? Can E-type parents have I-type kids? Can I-type become more outgoing with practice? Is being introverted a bad thing? Are I-types always socially anxious? Ever had these doubts? Or maybe you've taken the MBTI test a few times and gotten both I and E results, making you wonder if your personality is stable. In this episode, we'll dive into I-type through the lens of psychoanalysis and Jung series to find the answers. As one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, Jung found through years of research and therapy that humans have two distinct attitudes towards objects, introverted and extroverted. But what do I mean by objects? They're just the people, things, or ideas out of me. An object can be anything, someone, a place, or thing, or even a fantasy that I loved or hated. It's simply something we direct our emotions toward. Jung found that extroverts' lives are more shaped by the object they focus on, while introverts' lives are influenced by their inner world. Simply put, introverts see things from their own viewpoint, while extroverts see things through the lens of external events. I-persons are the introverts Jung described. They put the self and their inner selves above everything else, holding their ground against outside influences. Objects are less important. Sometimes they reflect my ideas, and other times they represent my feelings. For example, if you are an I person evaluating a painting, you might say its composition is novel and its colors are bold, showing that you think creativity should be daring. Just like how you'd paint it if it were your work. When you commit that painting reflects the artist's critical but warm view of reality, you're really expressing your own frustration with the world, while still holding hope for the future. If the painting gives you a feeling of dawn breaking through the darkness, it just means you're feeling that way right now. But maybe not because of the painting itself. Even if you know nothing about art, these comments could make experts roll their eyes and think, "That's nonsense." While others might cheer, saying, "Well, that's exactly how I feel." But the key is, you don't care about either reaction. Like most typologies, Jung believed introversion is innate and hard to change. There's no good or bad in being introverted or extroverted. Many I-persons don't socialize much not out of fear, but because they don't need to. Even actors who perform on stage could be quite off-stage. This shows I-person can show E-traits when their internal needs are met their socializing. Jung also discovered that there's no significant gender difference in the distribution of introversion and extroversion, with roughly equal members of females and males among I-persons. Additionally, in families with multiple children, there can be both introverts and extroverts among them. However, an introverted child may have extroverted parents, but the possibility of both parents being E-persons is very small. And such parent-child relationships are bound to be full of conflicts. Jung believed that there's no pure introverted type or extroverted type. I-persons merely lean more towards the I end of the I-E coordinate axis, making the introverted attitude more prominent. Interestingly, Jung found that our personality structure seems to be striving to maintain balance, with a definite auxiliary type opposite to one's dominant type, to prevent individuals from veering off to one extreme of the coordinate axis and falling into an excessively one-sided psychological state. So, if you are an I-person, to compensate for your over-indifference to the outside world, some extroverted traits may show up in your psychology. That's probably why your test results range between I and E. Besides introversion and extroversion, Jung also identified 4 basic psychological functions: sensation S and intuition N for gathering info, and thinking T and feeling F for making decisions. These functions work in both our inner and outer worlds, gives us 8 combinations: introverted sensation SI, extroverted sensation SE, introverted intuition NI, extroverted intuition, NE, introverted thinking, TI, extroverted thinking, TE, introverted feeling, FI, and extroverted feeling, FE. I persons can show extroverted traits in some psychological functions. To keep balance, one function is applied externally and the other internally. The dominant function is always introverted. So, if an I person's dominant function is introverted sensation, I sign, their secondary function must be extroverted thinking, TE, or extroverted feeling, FE. They are keen observers, spotting beauty around them. They can use TE to show others life's beauty or FE to collect evidence of it and boost the possibility. MBTI comes from Jung's theory, and the 16 types can be broken down using the Jungian 8 dimensions to spot your dominant and auxiliary functions. For example, as an INTJ, my dominant function is introverted intuition, NI, and my secondary is extroverted thinking, TE. This makes me good at spotting connections and expressing them clearly. Do you want to figure out your dominant function? Please leave a comment telling me your MBTI type, and in future episodes, we will select the most frequently mentioned type from the comments for the further analysis. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for updates on latest content and psychology insights. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. See ya! Bye bye.